Sunday. Happy anniversary to you, my husband, who's watching this. I love you. I'm Professor Upsidasium. This is the Steampunk Aethercast on a Sunday as I'm rearranging elements and checking them out and seeing how they work and all that fun stuff. And we're going to do some Detective Grimoire. I'm wearing my detective hat. So, let's get on with getting on. Let's see if I can queue up Tangle Tower here. Boop, doop, 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 boop, boop, boop. It wants to load. Let's see. Yes, please do that thing. All right. Okay, step one, I'm going to slide me over here. Step two, I'm going to look at bringing down a lot of the sound. It was a very loud game. Okay. Ah, cool. No, I like the pointy finger cursor, so we're going to keep that. And here we are. This is Tangle Tower. There's been a murder. Young lady was painting a portrait of one of her relatives and was suddenly falling down dead with a knife wound where there was no knife, but she had painted a knife. Or had she? All right. So that's our victim, Freya. Died whilst painting a portrait of Flora fellow. In Flora's tower, Flora was present as she was posing for a portrait. Freya was found lying on her back, single stab wound in her chest. No weapon was found at the scene. Subject of Freya's unfinished painting is holding a knife. The red color on the tip of the knife is not paint. It was discovered to be blood. Dun dun dun. Okay, previously we had gotten
We
into
already
this
solved
egg,
it.
and there's nothing inside of it. Once unlocked, the egg can be opened. It's currently empty. The lining of the egg is soft, velvet-like material. Egg supported by a stand made of brass. It rests on three strange feet with pointed claws.
Is that a gramophone?
I think so. Except it's got a tape deck instead of a turntable.
Okay, so this is Sally. She is the friend of Detective Grimoire. Maybe more, maybe less, don't know.
It's also got
That's
a big
Detective
crack
Grimoire.
down the middle.
Big crack. Tower, the case file. We saw this statue outside. We found this cassette. We found an opened letter. And the portrait. The brush and palette she used. The paints. I noticed this one has a different label than the others, but that has not come up yet. Empty egg. Alright.
What about the cassette tape?
Yeah, it sure is. Pink.
Okay.
Do you think it still works?
The gramophone? We could give it a go. It's piano music.
Alright, cute. Not as comforting. Not a bass in this.
Weird.
It's someone humming a tune.
We found this outside in the pond where we saw the strange fishman statue.
A bunch of old books. Covered in dust now, but they look well read. A bunch of old books. Covered in dust now, but they look well read.
Half the room is a big open window.
I don't know if you can call it an open window. It's more like the sudden absence of wall.
Flora... Fellow?
Hey, sorry to barge in. I'm sure you're still in some distress.
We need to ask you a few questions, I'm afraid.
Did you witness the murder, Flora?
Nothing. What do we do?
Not sure. She's entitled to her silence, I suppose.
For now. Is there anything you'd like to tell us, Flora? I don't really know anything about you at all.
I think that's the way she likes it. We'll just have to ask other people about her.
Yeah, okay.
Freya was painting your portrait yesterday. Is that right?
Was this something you had planned with her ahead of time?
Was there something special about yesterday?
Did you talk to Freya at all while she was painting you?
She's not going to answer us, is she?
Nope. But at least we can say we tried. Flora, you were definitely in the room at the time of the murder. Surely you must have seen something? Can you tell me anything about what happened to Freya? She's acting pretty suspicious if you ask me.
I don't know. Maybe she really doesn't know anything.
How is that possible?
Okay, challenge question, which I have not unlocked yet. Probably comes open later when I discover more about her.
Were you close with Freya? How are you two related? Did you kill Freya?
Grimoire!
What? I don't even think she's listening.
Oh, she's listening.
She just got nothing to say.
Did you ask Freya to paint this? Or was it her idea?
What is that you're holding in the painting, Flora? Some people have been saying it's a knife.
I guess that's the closest thing she has to a stunning rebuke.
Flora, this is your egg? Why do you keep it locked?
Is there supposed to be something in there? Or is it always empty? Is this your gramophone?
Do you know why it's cracked?
Alright. We got nothing.
A little pot plant, balanced on the window ledge.
It's the only plant in the entire room.
We're at the top of the tower, right?
I think so. Why?
Doesn't matter. It's nothing.
It's so dark back there.
Somehow, the sunlight doesn't seem to be making it very far into the room.
A bunch of old books, covered in dust now, but they look well read.
The whole room has a strange feeling about it.
Yeah, there might be a reason for that.
Like the dead body. Who knows? Okay.
That's the only door in and out of the room.
It's also on the floor.
Sure is. Guessing it's not supposed to be down there.
Alright, so to get around, we go to our map view. And this is open and it's closed, so let's go here.
Puffer fish?
Yes, it's also a lamp, for some reason.
It's Earth.
If Earth was made of paper and gave off a gentle pink light. It's a magic lamp. Can we summon the genie?
If we get really stuck, sure.
A hammock. It's kind of worn out.
I would politely describe it as lived in. It's a barometer, but it's broken.
I've never seen a barometer that wasn't broken.
What is it?
He's an imp.
What does he do?
Well, if you tell too many lies, he appears at the end of your bed in the middle of the night.
Oh.
The entire room is made of wood.
Yeah, many are.
Oh, it's not just made of wood. I think it's the actual hull of a ship.
The entire room is made of wood.
Oh, it's not just made. I think it's the actual hull of a ship.
Oh,
it's not just made. I think it's the actual hull of a ship.
A little hand-painted statue.
How can you tell it's happy?
Well, the paints are right there on the desk. Also, I mean, no offense, but you can just tell.
Yeah. This is where to go? Freya's paints. Alright, so squiggle, these were Freya's paints, and we have the odd red there. And we look at the painted model, and they're all the triangle, squiggles, so... And that's kind of empty.
It's a drinking horn.
Is it full of ale? Or mead, maybe?
Right now, it's just full of dust.
Oh. Yeah, it's a massive conch shell. Do you think there's a little crab living inside?
I hope so. Shelf junk. The entire room is made of wood.
Oh, it's not just, it's the actual hull.
You get a good view of the lake from here. Nice. A real treasure chest.
How do you know there's treasure in there?
Why else would it be locked? Plus, there's a treasure map hanging directly above it.
Okay, there's that.
What's the deal with that painting on the front?
Not sure. We should check that treasure map, too.
Okay, so here we have an image, and we have to find a corresponding outlook. One of these X's will give us the same viewpoint as this. So, sea serpent, distant tree, rock. I will go with distant rock. And that is looking west.
I did it.
Huh.
What do I win?
Not bad. What was in the box?
More wooden models. These are a little different to the one on the desk.
Squeakle paint. So again, the mismatched paint.
We already solved it.
Alright.
A map with a dotted line and an X marked on it.
That's a very boring way to describe a treasure map.
Alright, let's talk to this guy.
Sir? Can you hear me? I'm Private Detective Grimoire. I have some questions for you.
Grimoire. Good mysterious name. I'd rather like it. Felix Fellow at your beck and call.
And, this is my colleague, Sally.
Yeah, that's a perfectly good name as well.
Thanks.
If you would, Mr. Fellow, we really need to ask you about the murder.
Well, I must say I'm rather jealous of you two.
Oh yeah? Why's that?
Out here solving mysteries, exploring new places, uncovering secret rooms, hidden treasures. That's what life is all about.
Secret rooms?
Generally speaking, you know, that sort of thing.
I guess we're gonna find a secret room later on. Alright, let's go through our questions.
So, Felix, what exactly do you, do?
Is it not obvious? I'm an explorer. Explorer/treasure hunter. Yes, well,
I'm wondering if,
best in the
if
world.
these are supposed to be like
We're
his
talking
tats.
like curse statues, spike pits.
It's a little more sophisticated than that. But I've certainly seen
Guess
my
that-
share of danger, if that's what you're asking.
And, if I may ask, when did you retire?
You listen here. I may be between ventures right now, but it's simply not in my nature to stay in one place for too long. I go wherever the winds of destiny take me.
Don't you live here with your wife and daughter?
Yes, well, the Fellow family has certain loyalties, and with Flora the way she is,
Nothing wrong with raising a family, Mr. Fellow.
don't misunderstand me. Fiona and Flora are my entire world.
Except for the
They
entire rest of the
are
world.
the greatest treasure of all.
Uh-huh.
I'm with you, Sally.
Why on earth would you want to know about that?
The murder of Freya Fellow. The reason we're here?
Ah, right. Nasty business. Very unfortunate. I regret that I can't be of any help, but I wish you all the best in your investigation.
Hear that, Grimoire? We're done here. Let's go.
It's a simple question, Felix. I'm sure you're up to it.
Well, there's not much to tell. Mostly, I was in my room by myself, working on Flora's, working on a project.
Your room is quite close to Flora's tower. You didn't hear anything unusual?
What qualifies as unusual?
What have you got?
Alright.
It was dusk. A feeling lingered in the air. Malevolent, perhaps. Uncertain, as life itself.
Abridged version, please.
Right, fine. I heard someone heading down the stairs, just outside my room. The footsteps were calm, orderly, so I thought nothing of it. Shortly afterward, I heard a second set of footsteps, going the same way. This time I could tell just from the sound that something was wrong. So I looked out into the hallway. I got a glimpse of Poppy disappearing down the staircase to the floor below. Didn't know what to make of it, to be honest. I thought perhaps she'd had a disagreement with Fitz, as I know those two are close. So I looked into his room, just in case, but it was empty, as was the garden beyond his window. Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor Pointer, so I escorted her. We went into Flora's room. Poor Freya was laying on the floor. Fiona, Poppy, Fitz, and Pointer were there already. Flora, too, of course. Soon enough, everyone else made their excuses and left.
Including you?
Not I. I stayed. Flora needed me.
Let's show him some stuff.
Ah, you found it. What do you think, huh? I had to rush the final touches a little bit. It turned out all right, though.
What's it supposed to be?
It's Flora, of course, surrounded by all her favorite people. I've been carving for a couple of years now. I was hopeless when I started, but it didn't take me long to master it, as you can see.
Do you paint them yourself too?
I do indeed. Freya kindly taught me the basics. Nowadays, I can make just about anything I can imagine. Of course, this particular model is a self-portrait based on hard fact.
Hard fact, huh? So, you own a sword, Felix?
Of course. I own a great many. But my weapons are stored well away from Tangle Tower. Safety first and all that. It would have been a beautiful painting. Rather a shame Freya was unable to finish it.
Nothing about it seems strange to you.
Well, all these modern paintings are slightly strange, aren't they? The emotion of the piece taking over from, say, anatomical accuracy.
What about the knife in Flora's hand?
A knife? That's what you see?
You don't?
Well, as I was saying, Freya's artistic approach distorts certain shapes. Hard to say exactly what we're looking at.
He knows already.
Looks like Freya's paints.
Do you know why the pots are cracked down one side?
No, that's very odd. They're normally in excellent condition.
You seem pretty sure about that.
I've been carving for I was hopeless when I started, but it didn't take me long to master it.
Do you paint them yourself too?
I do, and nowadays I can make just a... It's unlike her to leave paint on the brush.
I think we'll give her a pass, given the circumstances.
Ah, yes. So we shall.
Death kind of keeps you from cleaning up some stuff.
That looks like it might belong to Poppy.
Poppy.
Flora's quite fond of that old thing. It's in poor shape, though.
Do you know what happened to it?
Can't say I do.
Does Flora normally keep something in here?
She must do, but I admit I've never managed to work out what.
Why not just ask her?
I feel like if somebody keeps something locked away in a ceramic egg, it's because they don't want to be asked about it.
Rules
Okay,
to live
fair
by.
enough. Fair enough.
I'm as confused as you are. That looks like it might belong to Poppy.
Poppy again.
Rather ugly, isn't it, as far as statues go? Years of wind and rain have not been kind to it either.
Yeah, I get that from all the junk growing on it, but generally speaking, as it goes, How would you know?
Do you know what it is? The creature, I mean.
It's connected to the Remington family history in some way, but I can't recall. What's this?
It's my case file. It's how I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
You mean to say you're bound by the limits of what's written in this little document? Sounds dreadful.
I found it comforting.
Charming, isn't it? Yes. Built by the Remington family originally. Dear Flora's father and his associates.
But now it's owned by you? By the Fellow family?
The Fellows and the Pointers have both come to claim a certain degree of ownership.
And who named it Tingle Tower?
Flora chose the name.
What does it mean?
I think it was her intention that it mean nothing at all. Something of a fresh start.
From what?
This really isn't for me to say, but she had some kind of disagreement with her siblings. After they moved away, Flora changed the name of the house. I think perhaps she hoped it would make them feel unwelcome, yes,
Hey.
less likely to come back.
Hey,
That's
Enyo, how
kind
you
of
doing?
extreme.
Hi. Doing okay here,
Yes,
doing some
it
Tingle
is
Tower,
rather,
which is a
isn't it?
detective noir mystery. It, just some point and clicky stuff. Glad you could stop by. Hello, hello. Andy the Cupid. Alright. And alright, I think I've got this room done. Let me go back though. Okay, no, I haven't gotten his challenge question unlocked. That's the thing with the challenge questions, they make you kind of go all over the map to find this stuff.
Locked. Painting supplies. That painting is really something.
Why would you want it looming over your bed like that?
Maybe Frey enjoyed the atmosphere it creates.
The atmosphere of chaos and oppression?
Hang on. There's a smaller version down by the floor.
It's a photograph.
Okay.
Frey is bare.
Looks pretty depressed.
He's had a rough couple of days.
Just little trinkets.
Let's leave them alone.
Just little trinkets.
Let's leave them alone. That painting is really something.
Why would you want it looming
Maybe
over
Frey
the
and
atmosphere?
hang on.
Alright.
There's a smaller version down by the
It's
floor.
a
Yeah,
photograph.
we did that. Okay, alright, yes, we did that, we did that, we did that. I'm so sorry.
Freya's plants. They must not need sunlight? It's a little wooden box for paintbrushes.
To the casual observer, maybe.
Oh, what do we got?
They're not real paintbrushes. Looks like they're part of some kind of lock mechanism.
Okay. Your corner. Your corner. Huh. Alright. Okay. I'm good with that. Alright, so. A small orange brush. Oh, okay. Alright, so I'm thinking that might stay where it's at.
Nothing.
Did you find a hint on those scraps of paper? It looks like a ripped-up jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah. Alright. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There are two things that are that tall. That might still be correct. This is looking for...
I did it.
Oh!
What do I win?
Not bad. What was in the box?
Just a photograph. Well, most of a photograph.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Drawings, taped up on the wall.
What's that one on the left?
Looks like two people standing together in a garden. One of them's holding a red rose.
Hawkshaw. Okay. Fifi.
Not the kind of lamp I choose for my bedroom, but fair enough.
It's cool. Looks like old mining equipment or something.
A pillow with a paw print pattern.
It's a cushion.
Yeah, but that doesn't alliterate. Freya's plants. They must not need sunlight? Do you think this was always supposed to be a bedroom?
I don't know. It is kind of a weird shape.
No windows either. Brushes.
They're clean, but they look pretty well used.
Even though we're halfway up a tower, someone's been tracking in mud from outside. It's a fish, I think?
I think it looks more like a whale.
Fine, it's a whale.
Could also be a shark.
Oops.
That's weird.
What did you find in the drawers?
Nothing. They're completely empty. It's a little glass box.
I think it's a vivarium.
Come again?
See the leaves and twigs in there? Might have been for keeping insects.
Brushes.
They're clean, but they look pretty.
Brushes.
They're clean, but they look pretty.
Do you think this was always?
I don't know.
No windows either.
I think we're about done with this room. And the library.
It's an illustrated book about birds.
It's been left open.
Or it was left open for us to find.
Ever so slightly unnerving.
Ink dip is a remarkably intelligent bird with a very long lifespan, even among avian mystids. Mystids, okay. Other birds are often aggressive towards it, and the ink dip lives most of its life alone. It has particular feeding habits and usually only eats the seeds of the Tantum amica. Pictured. That looks suspiciously like the plant we saw up there balanced on the ledge. Okay.
Books about ancient history, I think?
These books are ancient history. I think they'd crumble into dust if I tried to pick them up.
Good excuse.
Thanks. Books about geography.
Skip. Books about insects.
Well, theoretically, there's not a single book on that shelf.
Huh.
Books about space.
They're relatively untouched. Is that a snow globe?
Of sorts. Hey, look at that. It's a model of Tangle Tower. There's the lake and those weird mountains. What are you thinking?
That would make an amazing souvenir.
Hey, look at that. It's a model. What are you
That
thinking?
would make an amazing...
Okay.
Hey, look at that. It's a model. What are you
That
thinking?
would make an...
Alright.
It's musty in here.
What exactly does that mean? What is must?
Must you ask such stupid questions?
Nice. What's in those bottles?
I'm not sure. Soil samples?
What's
I'm not sure. Soil samples?
Sure. Why not build a science lab in the corner of the library?
The search for new knowledge, the archiving of old knowledge. It's downright poetic.
A chalkboard?
Is this a library or a classroom?
Math equations.
Don't look at them for too long. You'll give yourself a headache.
Yeah.
Any idea what this means?
Not a clue.
Any idea what this means?
Not a clue.
Math.
Don't look. You'll give yourself a headache.
Math.
Don't look at them for too long. You'll give yourself a headache.
Right. I am gonna need a short break here.
I'm not sure I learned anything from that.
So, pardon me for the intermission, and I will be right back. And I'm back, thank you very much. Laundry is a cruel mistress. So we are playing Detective Grimoire Tangle Tower. And we've come into the library and we checked around here.
A book on the floor. Fundamental Entomology.
I guess somebody dropped it. It's an illustrated book about
Oh,
birds.
yeah,
That's
we found
Flora
that
is
somewhere.
left
Ever
out.
so slightly unnerving.
Yes. Alright, time to talk to the person.
Curious. I would expect bacteria of that nature to thrive in these conditions.
Excuse me.
Taking all the environmental factors into account, there must be something I am still missing.
May I talk to you, miss?
She knows we're here. She just doesn't care.
I am a detective, and I need to talk.
Correction. You do not need to talk to me,
Oh no? How come?
because I am not a suspect. I am completely innocent of any and all crimes.
Thanks for letting me know.
Speaking of which, you have now been at Tangle Tower for over 23 minutes. Surely you have already reached a sturdy hypothesis.
A hypothesis about the murder?
Yeah, come on, Grimoire, hurry up.
My apologies. Unfortunately, protocol dictates I must at least meet all the suspects. And that includes you. So, could you tell me your name?
Fifi Fellow, microbiologist, inventor, innovator.
Mm-hmm.
You will need to be more specific. Oneself cannot be summarized in a single response without doing one a great disservice.
So true.
Well, first of all, you're a fellow. So does that make you the daughter of...
Correct. My father and mother are named Flora and Felix, but you need not question either of them. It will only waste valuable time. Neither of them are capable of murder.
Thanks for the tip.
Fifi, you said you were a micro... something or other?
Microbiologist, but it is an insignificant label. My studies cannot be categorized in any one recognized field.
What made you want to become a scientist in the first place?
I harbor an intrinsic fascination with the microscopic. I constructed my first one at age 10.
Constructed a microscope?
Correct.
And what's that thing on your head? Did you make that too?
My eyesight began to deteriorate when I turned 12. Not satisfied with the eyeglasses prescribed to me, I designed this custom lens instead. It automatically adjusts based on the surrounding light conditions.
Does it glow red when you get angry?
No, but that would be most amusing. What can you tell me about the murder?
What can you tell me about... Wait, that's what I'm supposed to ask you.
Yes, however, you were too slow.
You fancy yourself a detective too, Fifi?
I just need to know what happened.
Me too. So talk.
Fine. I knew ahead of time that Freya was going to be busy with her painting all day, so I had planned to spend the afternoon with Poppy. I was in the library all morning preparing the equipment for an experiment, only to find out that Poppy had made other plans and she was in fact planning to ignore me completely.
Oh.
So what did you do instead?
I locked myself in my room and cried.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Why?
I don't know, it just sounds kind of sad.
It is not unusual.
Oh. Good.
I was in my room. The lights were off and the door was locked. Someone began banging on the door. I ignored it
We're here in that
until the
room.
someone began shouting at me. I opened the door. Poppy came into my room. Her makeup was leaking. She told me Freya was dead. I did not believe it. I thought she was playing a trick on me, so I punched her in the face. She insisted that we go up to Flora's tower. We left the room, and Poppy's father was waiting outside. He followed us upstairs. When I saw Freya lying on the floor, I was completely and utterly devastated. Then, I took a sample of the red paint on the unfinished painting. Poppy and I took the sample back downstairs to the library. We performed a test and found out that it was, in fact, blood.
You performed that scientific test immediately, even though you were feeling so upset?
Of course. Why would one affect the other?
What a lovely little sociopath she will grow up to be. Alright. Let's just go
Do you
through
know who was reading this book?
the
It belongs to my
inventory.
mother.
And she left it in the library?
No, My mother's not been in the library for some time. There is a drawing of me, a drawing of Detective Hawkshaw, and a drawing of Poppy and Fitz. This photograph is my favorite photograph.
So, why'd you rip it in half?
That was not me. Besides, it was not a half that was ripped off. It was only a third. I believe Freya was attempting to communicate something through this painting.
Any idea what it was?
I am not the person to ask. All I see is a blood-red mountain with angry storm clouds brewing above it. As such, I cannot ascertain any meaning from it whatsoever. It is a model of Freya, made by my father.
A model of Flora, you mean?
And a man with a beard. And a little red and white creature.
Why would my father make a model of Freya? A wooden carving of my father, made by my father. Although, now that I look at it, I do not understand how he was able to paint the red parts without any red paint.
Is she laughing?
The gramophone belongs to Poppy, but I believe she gave it to my mother, and my mother often loaned it to Freya. Or maybe it is the other way around.
When did it get cracked?
I cannot pinpoint it exactly. All I know is that it must have happened sometime in the last 2 days. That belongs to my mother. I think she must be fond of eggs. There are a number of egg-shaped carvings to be found in the garden and in the Grand Hall.
Yeah, what's the deal with all the eggs?
Some people just like eggs.
Fifi, did you test the red paint in this pot?
Yes, I did. I discovered it too was blood, not paint.
A whole pot full of blood?
Not a whole pot. It is only partially full.
Yeah, but still. Doesn't that freak you out?
No. In fact, it may be considered rather reassuring. The red paint on the brush is not paint. It is blood.
Right.
Same for the palette.
So Freya added the blood to the painting herself?
Or blood got on the brush and palette some other way?
I do not know the answer. Freya is normally highly skilled at capturing someone's likeness, but in this painting, she has accidentally made Flora look quite young.
I think she was just being kind.
Why is that kind? Anyway, I'm far more interested in what Flora is holding. I performed the test on the red paint myself. I discovered that it was in fact not paint, but blood.
What made you want to test it in the first place?
It was Poppy. She told me she thought the painting looked like a bloody knife. I told her not to be ridiculous. My mother owns no such knife. But then I noticed that the color was slightly too dark, and the substance itself was overly viscous.
You noticed that just from looking at it once?
Of course. Curious. This belongs to Poppy. In fact, she owns a number of cassette tapes.
What happened to it, though?
It has been left underwater for an extended period of time.
Right. But why?
I do not know why. The statue itself does not interest me, but I do wish to know about those symbols on the harp. Have you deciphered their meaning yet?
We're working on it.
We are?
I require facts. What do you know?
Well, we know Freya was stabbed with a knife, and then she fell...
Correction. She was stabbed with something. There was no knife found at the crime scene,
Apart from the one in the painting.
which as a mere abstract representation does not count. Nobody has ever been stabbed by the concept of a knife. What is your opinion of Tangle Tower?
Oh, it's impressive. Elaborate gardens, unique architecture.
Must be worth a fortune.
Why do you ask, Fifi?
I am the heir of the Fellow family and the Remington family. This makes me the sole beneficiary of Tangle Tower.
That's quite an inheritance.
They can't make you do anything, Fifi. If you don't want the house, just tell them. Or just sell it. Who cares?
You sound like her.
Not creepy at all.
Name, Flora Fellow. Age, 44. Profession, unknown. Likes, unknown. Dislikes, unknown.
Isn't she your mother? How do you not know anything?
I believe other people may have discovered methods of reaching her, but I have little capacity for interpreting nonverbal communication.
And how long has Flora been non-verbal?
She has always been quiet, willing to speak when necessary, but not more.
So what happened to make her stop talking entirely?
She suffered a great loss, something she has been unable to move beyond. Name, Felix Fellow. Age, 53. Profession, none. Likes, collecting objects of negligible monetary value and assigning them personal value. Dislikes, the inescapable realities of human existence. Notes, Felix is my father and legal guardian.
And, is he a good dad?
I have no point of comparison, but I would say no.
No? Why not?
You asked me a binary question. Do not get upset that I provided one of the two possible answers.
What makes him a bad father, Fifi?
He has trouble expressing his emotions, and something of a willful detachment from reality.
Huh. Just like you, then.
Grimoire.
No, he is quite correct. Name, Freya Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, artist. Deceased. Understand this. Most people find me difficult. They exhibit a noticeable degree of discomfort when talking to me. There it is. Freya, who had a way of being an exception to any given rule, was not at all like this. She is very important, and I will not rest until I understand what has happened to her.
Did you spend a lot of time with Freya recently?
Well,
I will say this.
have to be careful about not
In the
clicking
past
off
year,
the game.
Freya became 1. Increasingly independent, and 2. Increasingly isolated.
Do you know why?
I do not. If you are looking for a speculative, empathetic opinion, try asking Poppy instead.
The three of you are friends.
We are of a similar age, and all highly gifted. 1 scientist, 1 artist, and 1 musician.
Sounds like quite a team.
Name, Fiona Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, amateur microbiologist. Likes, the meaningful archiving of information. Dislikes, the superfluous window dressing accompanying the majority of human contact. Notes, kindly disregard the polysyllabic form of my given forename and refer to me instead as Fifi.
How come you prefer Fifi?
How come you prefer Grimoire?
How are you related to the other fellows?
Fitz is my cousin. His father, a man named Flint, was my uncle.
Was?
I do not know if Flint is alive or not. He left Tingle Tower a long time ago.
And what about Freya? How are you related to her?
We share exactly 1 grandparent.
Fifi's bedroom should be unlocked now.
That only sounds a little bit creepy.
Can't wait.
There's something about the image of Flora in the painting. Something suspicious.
Let's ask her about it. I don't know what that drink is, but I bet it's 99% sugar.
I'd read you the ingredients, but there's nothing written on the can.
That's even worse.
What's that big book on the desk?
Looks like something Fifi's been writing.
Is it a clue?
I hope not. It's just a bunch of notes about her microbiology experiments.
It's a magnifying glass. A big one.
How come you don't have one of those?
Why? Because I'm a detective? Should I start smoking a pipe too?
You couldn't pull off a pipe.
It's a magnifying glass.
How come you-
Why? Should I start
You
smoking?
couldn't pull off.
Okay.
A new suspect! Don't think you can get out being questioned just because you're a bear.
I'm innocent, I promise.
Save it for the judge. Scientific formulas, probably. I'll openly admit I have no idea what any of it means. It's a bed.
Barely.
That's a whole lot of books. That's a whole lot of books. That's a whole lot of books. What's that big book on the desk?
Looks
Does
like
it
some
help?
it's just a bunch of notes about her mic.
A pretty ornate window with a great view of the lake.
We're supposed to be looking for clues, not assessing the real estate value.
And over here, you'll see the owners use sheets of paper to block out all that unnecessary natural light. A simple trick, but it really transforms the space. It looks like a microscope, a big one.
Can I touch it? I'm not sure this is a microscope.
Okay. So I'm trying to make this shape with these lenses. Okay. Okay, so you two pretty obviously belong down there.
That's the one.
Ah!
Hey, not bad. Sounds like it unlocked.
Yeah, it's built on top of a little metal box. There's a book in here.
It's not letting me look in the diary, though. Okay.
That's a whole lot of books.
Yeah. Books.
Fifi's got something pinned up here.
What is all this?
Okay, so that's the Hawkshaw person. And that's... we haven't met him yet, but he's... a fellow? Right, so there's Flora and there's Felix. Models of relationships. Okay. Who is this?
Did you notice who isn't on here?
Freya?
Mm-hmm. And Fifi herself.
Oh, we got an achievement. So this connects above somehow. Flint Fellow. Oh, he was the uncle.
is that?
I think it's a family tree.
I know we looked through all of this before. Okay.
Now it's a big glass tube filled with water.
There are weeds in there. And sand.
It's an aquarium?
Could be. Except there's nothing living anymore. There's a metal plaque on the bench.
Is there a message engraved on it?
I think there was at one point, but someone scratched it off. A pointless little stone tower.
I don't know. Might be a good hiding place.
Want to play hide and seek?
I could be persuaded. You ever see a mushroom that big before?
Not in real life.
It's Tangle Tower. Or at least it's the mansion at the base of Tangle Tower. A giant glowing gemstone full of plants.
AKA a greenhouse. Looks like it might be about to fall apart. Grimoire, you go first.
It's a big stone dais.
Biggest one I've ever seen. First one, too.
I like to look at all the details before I actually interact with the...
Hi.
Okay, so that's where we came from. That's the front door. So that... Okay. All right. So that's the greenhouse. So that's probably back out to the front stoop. All right.
A wooden trunk that opens up into a full desk.
I want one. Is that a clock?
If it is, it's a clock with 4 faces.
I'm guessing it doesn't tell the time.
So what does it do?
Alright, so it looks like 3s. And that looks like 12. So that would be a 9, and that would be a 6. I think I'm doing this wrong. Crud. Yeah, I am just sort of flipping these things around at this point. Hey. Alright. Yeah.
Reset the puzzle?
Yeah, reset the puzzle. Sure, yes.
Reset the puzzle?
Oh, so I've reset it back to... Oh, the thing that really moved was a 3. What is my time check? Alright, I have got about 6 minutes left in this stream.
Reset the puzzle?
Yeah, let's...
Just gonna rest my brain.
Yeah, that's... Okay, let's talk to this person real fast.
Whoa, nice cape.
You're not fellows or pointers. I'm sure I shall immediately regret asking. But who are you, and what is your business here?
I'm Sally, and this is my sidekick Grimoire.
A private detective, Grimoire.
Really? You're a detective. If this is a joke, it's not a good one.
Who are you, anyway?
Private Detective Hawkshaw.
Oh, nice. Hawkshaw's a cooler name than Grimoire. Maybe I'll become her sidekick.
You're not on the Freya Fellow case, too, are you?
That is classified information between myself and my client. Clearly, this is something which eludes you. But a real detective refrains from handing out informations to persons unknown.
Oh, right.
Now, if you would, I have work to do. It's not in my interest to discuss personal details.
Even if you're one of the suspects in a murder?
Very well. Let us make a small exception. Ask.
Oh, what are you doing here?
I'm on a case at the behest of my client.
How long have you been at Tangle Tower?
133 hours. 5.5 days.
Who are you working for?
I am not at liberty to answer that. Now, I shall permit you one more question.
What crime are you...
How'd you get that scar? It's cool.
You really think so? As it happens, I completed an examination of Flora's room on the morning before the murder. I've been investigating every single room at Tangle Tower. Hers was one of the last on my list.
Did you find anything unusual?
Nothing but a thin layer of dust and an atmosphere of somber melancholy.
Was Flora in there at the time?
She spent the duration of my search staring up at the sky, out the open window. Didn't say a word, although I'm told this is the expected behavior.
What did you do after that?
I spent the early evening searching the library. It took longer than it should have. Fiona leaves that room in a permanent state of disarray.
Fiona was in the library too?
I expected her to make an appearance, but she did not.
And you stayed in the library the rest of the day?
Not quite. Towards the early evening, my examination of the library was unexpectedly disrupted. Sounds of running, wailing, shouting from several floors above. I vacated the library, but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared. He emerged from the Pointer staircase, crossed the hall, and begun up the fellow staircase. Our eyes met. He was breathless. Something had caused him great alarm. He told me to stay out of the way. I consented. I decided to return to my office in the stone square. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me. She was clutching the banister of the Pointer staircase with an apprehensive manner. She wished to know where Professor Pointer had gone. I told her what had transpired. Then, she too crossed the hall and disappeared up the fellow staircase. More so than at any moment prior, I felt like quite an intruder in the house. I took my leave, out towards the stone square. The grounds were silent. There were no signs of human life. Even the greenhouse was without its typical inhabitant. I noted that he, too, must be entangled in whatever was transpiring in Fellow Tower. An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance. He spoke to me of what had occurred. His report was as clumsy and cumbersome as the man giving it.
Did he seem upset?
He was rattled. That much was clear. But sorrowful? Mournful? I cannot say. Freya Fellow is of great interest to me. I perceived her to be the most intelligent individual here at Tangle Tower. Within a day, she had identified for whom I was working and for what I was searching. I didn't know how she did it. I was impressed. I regret that I did not question her more thoroughly when I had the opportunity.
You couldn't have known she was about to be killed, though.
I have only myself to blame for failing to perceive the signs.
What signs?
I do not wish to do your job for you, Detective. Quite the stoic statue, isn't she? I can only dream of being as cold and indifferent as Flora Fellow.
You think she's hiding something?
Perhaps. She has some strange habits. I heard she barely sleeps, an hour here or there, sporadically. Spends the rest of her time staring up at the sky. Did you get anything useful out of him?
Not sure. What about you?
Nothing worth committing to paper.
I think he knows more than he lets on.
Probably. But talking with him is so tedious. Considerably intelligent, and her powers of observation are enviable. But she has no ambition. No focus.
In her defense, she's still a teenager.
Barely. 314 cases solved. 314.
Case envy. Case envy.
Tangle Tower. No idea why they insist on calling it that. It's not even a tower. It's little more than a pair of turrets stuck on either side of a mansion.
Have you searched the whole place?
I believe so. Why?
He wants to know if you found any secret rooms.
I I'm afraid the residents of Tangle Tower are far too ordinary for anything like that. I was disappointed too. You truly consider this a case file?
What's wrong with it?
No organization, no system.
That's my style. I like seeing everything laid out at once. Yeah, it helps me think.
How quaint. Have you deciphered the meaning of those 4 symbols on the harp?
We're working on it.
That's a no then. Where'd you dig that up?
It wasn't buried. It was underwater.
Someone trying to conceal evidence, perhaps? Conveniently left anonymous. It's useless until you can prove to whom it concerns. Can you do that?
No?
No. Makes quite an impression, doesn't it? Although I can't imagine why she painted Flora wielding a knife.
You didn't see a knife anywhere in Flora's room, did you?
I did not. I conclude whatever stabbed Freya must have been
This
brought
has gotta
into the
be
room
like
from
the
outside.
only large family
Unless,
mansion without
of course,
knives.
it was the painting itself.
Surely you don't believe in that kind of thing.
A detective's job is to examine every avenue of thinking. The paint is still wet.
Yeah, well, we know Freya was in the middle of painting when she was killed.
Do you know that? How? Because you were told? Paints?
Yep.
Paints.
Mm-hmm.
You got it open. I'm impressed. I managed it myself yesterday. I thought Flora might be hiding something in there.
It was empty yesterday, too.
It was. Perhaps it's always been empty. A somewhat cumbersome device, and an altogether inefficient way to listen to music.
What kind of music do you like, Hawkshaw?
I like anything.
What a cop-out.
I believe that was in Flora's room yesterday, but it was not cracked when I saw it last. I'd tell him not to quit his day job, but he hasn't got one, has he?
Ouch.
These figurines remind me of a case I once solved involving a possessed doll. Turned out to be a bit of a smokescreen, as these things often do.
Your life sounds fun. Grimoire, why don't we ever have fun adventures like that?
Are we not having a fun adventure right at this very moment?
I admit, it's powerful. Freya was a talented young woman.
Someone even liked it enough to take a photo of it.
Now, we don't know why they took the photograph, do we? Perhaps they just wanted it for reference. A photograph of Freya could be important.
When did Freya draw the picture of you, Hawkshaw?
I didn't model for her, if that's what you're asking. She must have done it without my permission.
Could just be from memory. It's not quite as detailed as the others anyway.
A book from the library. One of hundreds, no doubt. What makes this one special?
It's about birds.
Yes, I see that. A diary. Have you read it?
Not yet. It's locked.
And you haven't attempted to force it open?
That would be cheating.
Seriously, I'm with you on that one. All right, I am at my time limit for right now. So thank you for joining me for this installment of Tangle Tower. And we'll get back to this sometime soon. In the meantime, y'all have a great Sunday night. And I will see you sometime. Well, Thursday, definitely. Thursday. If you're around Thursday night at 8 Eastern Standard Time, I come on here and I chat for a bit. And then I go play Among Us with some friends of mine, none of whom live in Eastern Standard Time, except for maybe Big G, but, you know, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, have a lovely Sunday evening. Good night. Stay safe. Stay steampunk. All that stuff. Thank you. Bye.